Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Friday, June 5th, 2020 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is I balance my knowing and unknowing with the spirit of change. And welcome to our first eclipse of this eclipse season. So it's the first one of 3 eclipses, and I'm going to do my best to unpack all that is happening in this energy. I actually want to start with the Sabian symbol for this eclipse energy because it's so pertinent, I feel like, to where we are at. So I should start by saying this is a full moon lunar eclipse. It is a partial eclipse, but I've been saying this to all my clients. I don't know if I said it in the scopes this week at all, but I'm going to reiterate it. It doesn't matter if it's a total eclipse or a partial eclipse. What really brings out the energy is, where it hits in our chart and the aspects that are being made in the eclipse. And this one definitely has some lessons for us. So, the Sabian symbol for this eclipse is the groundhog looking for its shadow on Groundhog Day. So just keep that in mind. Groundhog Day is definitely a theme with this eclipse energy. So I want to look at some of the astro just building into it. When I was looking at the chart, I noticed something that I hadn't noticed before, and that is we have a fast-moving yod happening on the way to eclipse. So a yod is the finger of God, is the finger of fate, and it's like, this is important. Look here and utilize these energies that are really difficult to look here. So the energies, the 2 energies that are yodding our moon in Sagittarius, which is why it's a fast-moving yod, because the moon shifts degrees every 2.5 hours. We have Mercury in the shadow in Cancer, feeding in, and then we have Uranus in Taurus, feeding in to the moon in Sagittarius. So this actually speaks of a lesson that we're looking at in the second eclipse, the June 20th, 21st eclipse, and that is into the future. Uranus energy. Uranus is helping pave our way to utopia, if you can believe it. The changes that need to be made in order to go in that direction versus our comfort zone. Mercury in Cancer. Mercury in Cancer, the emotional walls that we'll basically have to pass through in order to release ourselves. That Uranus energy is like, I'm going to trigger up these emotions. Now, it's interesting that it's feeding into Sagittarius, this moon in Sagittarius. What does that reveal? Well, there's a few items that we're looking at, with this moon in Sagittarius, this energy with this eclipse. One is we don't know what the heck is going on, and it is okay. Acknowledging those places where you don't know. And being okay with that, being okay with the unknown. Mercury in Cancer is like, what are you talking about being okay in the unknown? And Uranus is like, you never know what I have up my sleeve. You are never going to know what I'm going to do because I am sudden change. So we are feeling that discomfortable or uncomfortable energy with that. We also really want to look at the spirit of the Sagittarius energy, which is able to see the light in the darkest dark. It is able to find the higher lesson, the optimism. And that's one of the things that I'm feeling with this moon is like, even if you don't know, even if you're terrified, even if you are being triggered out of your mind right now, which so many are, can you look for the good? Now, I love that it actually has, what is it called? A boomerang point. So when we have an opposition point to the point of the yod, it is called a boomerang point. And that is Venus retrograde in Gemini. So remembering our Venus retrograde in Gemini lessons to stay open, to listen, and even more importantly, to drop in, to hear the yin lessons from centuries of being suppressed, because it's going to be that knowledge, not knowledge that we currently are like zooming around with here. But that knowledge that we thought was lost is not. It is carried on in us. It is that knowledge that's really going to help us move through these energies, move through the changes, move through the fears, dropping into the yin, allowing ourselves to break through these emotional walls. That is where some power lies. So do keep that in mind as we are building into this eclipse energy. Now, another part of this eclipse energy is that it is a T-square, an exact T-square. So a T-square is when we have an opposition and squares. Oppositions can be push and pull. Yes, they can work together, these energies, but a lot of times they kind of feel like they're pulling in opposite directions. So those oppositions, Sun in Gemini, Moon in Sagittarius, that we're having opposition. That's what's part of the eclipse energy and part of that full moon energy. The T-squaring element can't be a subtle one, not in 2020. The T-squaring element is Mars. Mars in Pisces, which is a very interesting placement for Mars, because Mars is usually like, let me go, let me move, let me move and groove, let me go after my passions. I am frustrated about this. In Pisces, we're feeling Mars a little bit more toned down and willing to move in alignment with spirit. And we really want to continue that. Where we have to be very aware in this is there are multiple frames of reference, multiple frames of information that are coming at us. If you are online ever, you will see there's the people's versions, there's the media's versions, there are the theorists' versions of what's going on right now. And again, my place is I feel pieces of truth in a lot of these. I'm much more likely to believe a person more so than anybody else from that frame of reference, but still, we all have our, individual perspectives that we see the world through. So we're getting all these different ways of seeing things. And again, that Venus retrograde energy in Gemini is like, drop in. You are not going to receive the whole picture of the truth out there. And chances are you're not going to even receive the whole picture of the truth from within here. But from within, you will tune in to what it is that you need to know at this time, how you are called to move, how you are called to act, what you are called to believe and share and speak and express and tell and sing and dance through these energies. So do be aware, do be listening to that more so than all of that mayhem that's out there. Now, another piece of these energies, going back to the Sabian symbol, we have definitely a major lesson, I feel like, with this eclipse, with this Sabian symbol. The groundhog, looking for its shadow on Groundhog Day. Okay, two major things come to mind with this. One is we're kind of like the groundhogs. Or the people waiting for the groundhog. Is it going to see its shadow? Are we going to have 6 more weeks of quarantine? Or, is it going to be springtime? Can we be free? Can we come out? Well, that remains to be seen. But where I think we need to do the work with this is like the movie Groundhog Day. Where are patterns in your life coming up? Whether it's through like searching for the truth and going through all these energies, or something personal in your life at this time, personal in relationships, where are these Groundhog Day patterns where you need to learn the lesson of Groundhog Day, which is generally some level of kindness and love and showing up in your next level self. So looking at that, again, through your personal lens, through your personal experience, that is going to be a big lesson through this eclipse. Now, it couldn't just be that, right? There's also a few other levels of things that are going on. We do have, I said this the other day, Mercury squaring Chiron. So again, the comfort zone seeking part of us, we may come up against having to be true to ourselves, acting according to that soul-guided action energy. So feeling that square. Again, I feel like there's going to be a lot of pushing through potential discomfort coming up with this eclipse. Now, I also need to say that, yes, this is a snippet in time, and yet eclipse energies, it lasts longer than just a snippet of time. So do be aware, like, you're like not feeling the discomfort. Where is it? Is it going to come? I wouldn't sit around waiting for it like that. It'll come when the time is right. It takes a while sometimes to unpack the downloads of eclipse energies. So be natural. Act natural. Be cool. Flow with what's coming up for you. Don't worry. The emotions will come. I promise. When the time is right, when you are there, when you are present and ready to unpack them. Another thing to look at in this astro, which is interesting to me, we have Pallas. Pallas, 29 degrees Capricorn. Pallas representing patriarchal energy. And that Pallas is in conjunct the North Node in I'm going to say Cancer, Gemini, North Node in Gemini energy. And that North Node is reminding that 29-degree Pallas, change is upon us. It is not comfortable. We are undoing, like I said, centuries, millennia of patriarchal patterning. And again, this is something that needs to be sorted out within, because we've all been raised in this system, which means we all have pieces of this system still taking part in us, still as part of our foundation. So this is a call to be aware where you need to make these changes in yourself. And again, this also tunes in to that moon in Sagittarius energy. One of the big patriarchal energies is just thinking that you know, and even that you need to know, because you don't. It's okay to stay open. It's okay to be in the mystery. Actually, when I started Gaia Blooming, that was one of our catchphrases, I don't know what the right word is, was Gaia Blooming, embrace the mystery. If not now, when? Like, oh my gosh, what is coming next with all of this crazy bicycle horn, So anything could happen. And yet, can we hold that perspective that these happenings, 222, that was at 12:22, can we hold that perspective that these happenings, this unfolding, could actually be good? Can we carry that perspective with this? I believe we can. Might have to get through the emotional wall, may have to get through some of our triggers that are coming up, and yet everything that's happening right now, it could very well be, I believe it is, happening for the highest good of all, and for us to take that next level up. Let me show you my cards before I finish. Jeez. Intensity, yeah, we're feeling this. But look at this. We're rushing from this darkness into the light. Good things are happening. That is right alongside the awareness card, which is the Chariot card, moving towards success. I should start calling this the Apocalypse card. We are peeling through the veils. Apocalypse does not mean the world is ending. It means veils are being peeled through. Layers that have held us back are being peeled through. I really am feeling, especially with everything that's going on with civil rights and everything, I'm really feeling completion energy of these old patriarchal cycles, so we can come back to a place where everyone knows their divinity. Everyone on this earth is treated like a child of the universe, an equal child of the universe. Speaking of that, nurturing, mother, creative energy. This is what we're going to need for those times when the emotions do surface with this full moon lunar eclipse energy. Can you tend to yourself? Can you honor yourself with that nurturing energy? It is important. And finally, the compromise card, I always call it the don't compromise card. That is definitely that square between Chiron and Cancer. Don't compromise yourself because of the comfort zones. But I think it's also like, compromise. You don't know everything. That guy over there that you really don't like his opinion very much may have some important information. Just even holding that space. It doesn't mean you have to accept that information. There's plenty of people who I don't want to accept that information from, and yet it may be there. And just even holding space for it It brings allowance. And that's a big piece of the change that needs to happen. So, that's it for this eclipse. I will be with you through these eclipse corridors. Besides that, the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power, and do stay curious. Namaste.